All right, so today we are going to talk about the image folder. So I'm going to delete everything in this project off. So I'm going to take them off. All right, so I will take them off. So we are going to have something like this. So I'm going to bring H1. All right, so here I'm going to type image. So working with images in HTML is relatively straightforward. All right, you can use the image tag, the image element, to display images on a web page. All right, so I'll be giving you guys some simple example of it. All right, and to do that we have various steps. So what we are going to do, before you can display an image, make sure it's available in your project directory. All right, so that is the first step we are going to take. Make sure that this image is available in your project directory. All right, so that we can have access to the URL. Okay, so then we are going to insert the image element. So I'm going to provide the image tag so we can all see it. The image element is going to have an attribute of source, which is src. This particular attribute specify the path to the image file. You can use a relative path if the image is in the same directory as your HTML file, or absolutely the URL. All right, you need to pay attention. And again, we still have attributes. We call it alt, which is alt. This attribute provides alternative text for the image, which is displayed if the image cannot be loaded or by screen readers for accessibility. All right, let's say for example you have an image called laptop in the same directory as your HTML, and you want to display it. So let's try and work something so we can see. And this particular element, the tag, the image tag, does not have a closing tag. All right, so this is the image tag, then you close it. So image tag does not have a closing tag. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to this folder, our project folder, and create a folder for our image. So and then I'm going to download some pictures, some image from Google. Then I'll place it inside that folder. Then I'll bring them and write some code. Then you can see what I'm talking about. Here I'm going to bring the images, so you can see this is the folder, and inside here you can see we have the image. So to do that now, I will go here to add the attribute. I will say src. So inside here I'm going to type the image. Inside here I'm going to say image then slash. Let me say the first one is going to be phone. All right, so here I'm going to put the auth. All right, so here I'm going to write a beautiful, okay, let me just say iPhone 14 Pro Max. All right, so I'm going to use it like this. So the work of this auth here is to to specify that if the image didn't display, then you will have something like, okay, this is an iPhone. From this alternative text, now you can actually like understand that the image here is an iPhone. All right, okay, so I will just copy this. I'll copy this, then I'll paste. I'll change this to image slash maybe laptop, then here so I could just say MacBook Pro, maybe, then Apple device. All right, so to identify again that is an Apple device, so I will still come here and do something like this for the third image. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to bring the last one, which is we have the TV. All right, so I will just say black and white. Black, I would just say black and white TV. White TV. So we have something like this. So by the time we view our web browser, we should have something similar to this. All right, so should have something like this. But if you can see, this thing is taking all the space on our screen here. So I'm going to work on it to centralize this thing. So I will just do it like maybe, so I'll just add a width, maybe, so I will add the width of maybe 200 pixel. All right, don't worry about this one. When we get to CSS, you understand more about this. So I will just say height, height, I will say 200 pixel. All right, so let me see. I think a test is going to display. So let's check that so you understand what I'm saying. For example, if I said something like, if I add something here and the image was unable to show, you can see black and white TV. So this is just like a replacement. All right, so if the image didn't display, maybe because of network issue, or because of maybe the server is down and the server is not loading well the way it's supposed to load, this is what the work of the alternative text do. All right, so this is how to bring the image tag, and this is how to make use of the image tag. Okay, so in the next video we are going to create a form element. All right, welcome back. So what we are going to do now, we are going to create a form element. So I'm going to take these off. I'm going to take these off. We're going to create a form. So I will say form elements. Element. So we're going to have we'll talk about the form elements. We'll talk about the attributes. We'll talk about we'll talk about form all right, so we'll talk about form attribute. We'll talk about inputs input type, input types, inputs input attributes. All right, so the first one we are going to talk about now is the form. Okay, creating form in HTML is essential for collecting user inputs and interacting with website visitors. Okay, HTML provides a various various type of attribute to customize and control the behavior of form elements. All right, so I will be giving us some common example and their attributes along with like the examples. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is I'm going to work on the form by bringing the form elements. All right, so here what I will do is to do that, just type form. All right, then you close. Okay, so now bringing in the form, like I said, form always have attribute, and form is just like a container. All right, defining a form is just like a container. So you will have to, anytime you want to build something in form, you have to wrap everything that you want to submit within the form element. All right, so we are going to have, there's an attribute called action. All right, so there's an attribute called action. All right, so this action now specify where the form data should be sent, when to submit. All right, where, listen, it specify where the form data should be sent when submitted. Okay, let me come again. The action attributes specify where the form data should be sent when submitted, and it's usually a URL. Okay, so we still have another one called method. All right, so this method now defines the HTTP method for sending form data. So there are two options. either here you want to get the form, like the method, do you want to like get information from people? Inside here you put get, and the get should be in capital letter, please, get. And if you want to like, maybe is something you want to post for people to see, maybe you build something like Facebook and you want to post, so what you are going to do is post, want to like post something. Okay, so this is it. So these are the attributes of that. And the form element goes here. All right, so if you want to have anything like inputs now, the input should be somewhere here. Let's see if I bring an input here now, me having an input here, the input should be here. All right, so the input should be here. So if I go to my browser now and view this, I should be able to see this and these inputs. All right, so whatever things I type here now should be inside here. This is the sign of the inputs. All right, so that is the sign of the input. So let's proceed to the inputs now. So we'll be talking about the inputs. Called create input feed for text, password, checkboxes, radio, button, etc. All right, so the attribute type specify the type of input element, that is the attribute type here now. So if I put this attribute type here, it specify the kind of form that I want to build. So if I say type of the form, so it's for me now to specify, is it going to be a button, is it going to be like is it going to be a button, is it going to be a checkbox, a color, a date, a time? So let's check it one after the other. If I say button now, all right, and I go back, all right, so here now, if I go back to the browser, what I'm going to see here is like this. You can see. So let me just add a value to it. So I'm going to separate this so we can see something, a value there. So inside here there's another value, another attribute called value. So here I'm going to add value. So inside here now I could just say submit or login. So let me just say login. All right, so you can see here, so you have login. So here now I could just say maybe the name. So I could just say here now name, then I say login. All right, so this is one of the form. All right, so this is exactly one of the form, so you can see now, and this is the type of this form now is button. So the type of this form is button. All right, so I'm going to show us the rest, and to do that, so I will come here now and change it to, so then I change it, copy it, and I put it here. So we have something like radio, here. All right, so so here now we are going to have, here is for text. So we just take this one off here. All right, so I'll take this one off, and here I'll put mail. So I'm going to like copy this and put it here, replace it. Then I'm going to check this to female. All right, so female. All right, so now I'm going to bring an attribute here, name attribute. Then I'm going to make this gender. So let the browser know and the code know that this is exactly what we are doing. Gender. So I'll copy it and put here. Gender. All right. Okay. So I'm I think we've talked about the form element and we've talked about the form attributes. All right. So the attributes, this is the attribute, like I said, this is the form attributes. All right. So we are talking about the input right now. All right. And these are the input. We talk about the types of inputs. This is what we are doing now. Input, this is the type text. We have reduce. So I'm going to do another one, which is the checkbox. We have another one called, so we have another one called checkbox. Maybe something like, I could say here now, could check this one to checkbox. All right, checkbox. Take off this. Then I'll say rice. Maybe beans. Okay, so here now I'm going to change this to I'll come here and put something like a favorite food, your favorite food. Right, food. All right, so here now I will say gender, and here I will say your name. Okay, so now I'll still proceed to some of the another kind of again. So we are going to look at selection. So, and to bring that selection element, the selection element, select element. All right, so here I'm going to say country. Since I'm going to select countries, so I will say country. For now I will not give it an ID, so I will take this ID off. All right, so in between here I will say option. So I will say option, then I'll close it. So in between the options here, sorry, so this option here, I'm going to add a value to it. So value is going to be Canada. All right, so in between the form I'm going to put the country name, which is Canada. All right, so I'll do it like this. So we have another one. Do it again. Option, close it, then the value. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this into maybe 5. Okay, let's just do it like this. Sorry. So I'm going to change this to Canada, maybe UXA. let me just say USA, we have UK, we have Nigeria, we have Ghana, we have so we have Togo, Togo. So I'm going to add this to the value. Copy this, add to the value. Copy this, add to the value. Then UK, USA. All right, so we have the selection input tag now. So the next one we are going to have now, we are going to have the button and the text area. So let's have the text area and the button. So we are going to have another one, text area. So here I'm going to name this comment. Let's say if you want to comment somewhere. All right, comment with H1. Close it. So I will say comment. All right, so here now we have an the attributes. If you can see, we have name attribute, we have ID, we have the columns, then we have the rows. All right, so here now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to name this one comment. So I'll say comment. All right, so I don't need to like type anything here. So I'll bring the button. All right, so I'll bring the button like this. So inside this button now I'm going to have like three kind of buttons. So here I'll say submit. All right, so here now button type, the type should be submit. All right, so I'm going to have another one, button. All right, the type should be the type. So the type here now should be resect, and here we're going to have resect. All right, so I will have another one. So I'm going to have another button, which is, so the attribute should be, the type should be. So here, and I'm going to say click. So here I'm going to put me. All right, so there are still others, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this one here. So I'll bring this one here to identify. All right, so I'll just say button. So I'll say button. Okay, so all right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open it on the browser and let's see what we have. All right, so if you can see on the browser, this is exactly what we have here. So you can see we have the name, we have the gender. All right, so I'll be explaining it one after the other. So if you come back here, all right, so the first one is the test, which is the name. All right, so the text, which is with the value full name. So I'm going to take this one. So I will just turn this one to name. All right, so the other one we have gender. So here I'm going to change it to radio. Okay, so I'm going to add a break to here. So I will just say BR break. Okay, so I will decide to like break it maybe 1 or 2. So okay, so I'll do it down here too. All right, so if let's say if you have the name here now, you can delete all this name here and put your own name, maybe Simwise. Then come here, select if you are male or female. All right, you just have to select one here. Either you select the two or you take one and leave one. So that is the work of that one. So back to this country place, if I do it like this to give it a space, if you click here, the list of the country is going to come out. I know you might have seen this form in so many websites that you visit. So once you click on, for example, you click on Nigeria, maybe when filling the form, and I select this and I select I'm a male. All right, so and you have your name here, so all is going. So here, like I say, here is the comment section, and we stand for, all right, the comment section stands for, okay, this particular one here, this drop down here is the selection. All right, is the selection. That's the work of the selection. The radio is for the gender here. All right, the favorite food is for this checkbox. All right, the country here is for the drop down, which is the selection and the option. So the comments now is the test area. The comment is the test area, and this is it. If you visit website and you want to comment, this is how it look like. So you can type. So this particular one mean how you want the column to be, which is 30, and you want the rules like how you want text to be inside 30, 10 times. So if I do it like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, 10, you can see. So this is how everything is filled up now. All right, so if we go down a little bit, we can see the button. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to like add the brick. So here you can see the button, you can see submit. Okay, so these are some of the form elements, the type, the attributes. So there is another thing I want to show you. So here now, let's say if you want people, okay, I didn't create password. So what I'm going to do now is this particular place, I'm going to create a password form for it. So, and to do that, I will just pick this, then I will paste it here and change the type to password. All right, I'll change the type to password, The value here, I could just say enter password, then here the name password. All right, so here now I want the password to be compulsory for anybody, so I'm going to add an attribute require. I'm going to add this attribute require, so without them filling this they can't go further. All right, so maybe I want to make the length of the password not to be more than 6, so I'll just say max length. Maybe I could just say 6. All right, so let's see something. All right, so here we have the password. So let's say if I type something 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, it's not going, you can see. So the mass, and you can see because it's password, so you cannot see it. All right, okay, so that is the use of the form element. So next we are going to talk about tables, how to build table. So now we are going to talk about how to build a table. All right, so I'm going to take all these off. All right, so I will say table. All right, so we are going to talk about how to build table. So creating table in HTML allow you to display data in a structured and organized manner. All right, let me come again. Creating tables in HTML allow you to display data in a structured and organized manner. So I'll be giving us example of some tables and how to create them. All right, so I believe by the end of this video you should be able to create a table. All right, so you should be able to create your own kind of table. Put it to practice, and remember, practice make perfect. So let's go with an example. So we are going to build a table. Let's name it weekly time schedule. So I'll say weekly. So I'll just name it, let's go like this. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to have the elements, the table elements and the table tags. So I'm going to have table. So I'm going to close it, open and close it. All right, so I'm going to have table role. So I'll just say tr. All right, so inside here I'm going to have a table header. Inside the table role I'm going to have table header. So this tr is table role, while th is table header. So I'm going to have something like this. All right, so here, and I'm going to say time slot. Let's name it time slots. So I'll copy this, I'll paste it here. All right, so I'm going to change this to Monday. So I'll change this one to Monday. Then I will have from Monday to Friday. So I'm going to have something like that. So I'm going to have from Monday to Friday. So I'm going to have Tuesday here. So I have Tuesday here. So I have Wednesday. So I have Wednesday here. So I will have Thursday. Thursday. Then I'll have Friday. So I'll have Friday. All right. So I'm going to have. So we are done with this particular one. So I'm going to have another table row below this. So at the end of this, I'm going to have another table row. All right. Sorry. I'll have another table row. All right. So inside this table row. So I'm going to have inside this table row, I'm going to have a table data. So I'll just say TD, which is table data. All right. So my first table data is going to be the time. So I'm going to say 9. All right. So I'll say 9 a.m. All right. So 10. All right. So I'll have something like this. So I'm still going to have the same TD, table data. Then here I'm going to say meeting. All right. So maybe here I will still say okay, here I'll give it a space, then I will say workshop. I'll give it a space like this. So I'll just say TD again, a space, then come here, TD. So here I'm going to say workshop. All right. So I'm going to give it a space again. So here I'm going to have what we call projects. All right. So I will have here TD. So TD here, project. All right, so let's view what we have and let's see. All right, so you can see exactly what I have here now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the border. So I'm going to add the border of, so the border should be 1. All right, so having the border now, you can see what I have here. So this is how you can do to create how you want your form to look like. So if I still want to add anything on it, I could decide to add. So I'm going to add a little bit, maybe one section. So I'm going to add one more section of this form. Then I'll come down here and paste. Then I will change some of the time. So here I'm going to change it to 10 a.m. to 11, maybe 10 a.m. 10 a.m. to 11. So here I could just say lunch, or okay, let me do it like this. So this first one will go. So the second one I will say lunch. All right. So the third one, I will let the third one go, then meeting, then projects. this one will go. Then there's a meeting, then project. So if we go back to here now, you can see that we have something else added. So this is how you can create it, and you can see that the time different now. All right, so this is how to create a form. This is how to create a form in HTML. So at the end of this course, you should be able to create your own form, all right, or recreate what I've created by yourself. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.